Hare Krishna, everyone. So I welcome all the students. Hare Krishna. Sorry for delay, as you all were waiting for me, but because of some other engagement, I could not start on time. So apology for that. So let us begin our class today. We are going to discuss very important topic today, which is very practical in our day-to-day dealings. We can understand this principle which we are going to discuss today and apply. And in fact, the result by applying these principles, it is seen that the results are quite favorable, positive, and anybody who follows the principles which we are going to discuss today, your the approach, your dealings with others, dealing with your mind, dealing with your internal world and your external world, both becomes very easy for us to have a good dealings and a good lifestyle, and we can have a very peaceful and contented day if we follow this what we are going to discuss today. So before we discuss, let us start with prayers. So I request all of you to kindly chant along with me. Those who know prayers or those who don't know, you can just hear me or repeat after me. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामिन इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So Hare Krishna, thank you very much everyone. As we have been discussing since last 3 classes that there is one important law which is influencing everyone, that is called law of karma or destiny. And yesterday's class we very nicely understood how free will we can utilize and how destiny works upon all of us. There is a perfect combination of free will and destiny, and based on that our life is governed. So now we have understood that destiny is fixed and we cannot change the destiny, provided we follow, if we don't go beyond this material jurisdiction. When we go beyond this material calculation and approach the Supreme Lord Krishna, then we can alter this circle of destiny, and we can in fact go beyond the influence of this destiny. So we have understood all these things. Now we'll understand very important concepts which is based on what we have discussed till now, but those who are coming new, they also can relate very nicely, very easy. So I'll share one PPT today so that you can easily understand. Okay, so our discussion is dedicated to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is founder Acharya of ISKCON and our spiritual master also. His teachings only we are trying to propagate. This is his teachings only we are getting benefited from, and we will be benefiting by his teachings, Srila Prabhupada's teaching, who broadcasted the message of Bhagavad Gita, the gems of Bhagavad Gita, all over the world, and anybody who followed the gems given by Prabhupada, they all became very happy, very jubilant and satisfied person, and they got meaning in life also. Otherwise, earlier just we are leading a life which is not having a long term meaning. Yes, definitely short term meanings, we may have some targets, some goals, but there is a ultimate goal in life for which we have got this human body. So Prabhupada made a whole world understand that what is that ultimate goal of life. So all credits goes to Srila Prabhupada, who single-handedly, without any support, a Bengali, recently the Subhash Chandra Bose birthday was there, and many students was sharing on their status posts were sharing on their respective groups also, and celebrating Subhash Chandra Bose birthday. So Subhash Chandra Bose is college mate of Srila Prabhupada. 1 year, just 1 year senior to Srila Prabhupada. They all both studied in same college, Scottish Church College. 1895 is the birthday of Subhash Chandra, and Prabhupada's 1906. And Prabhupada, in fact, they were all very spiritual personality. And as Prabhupada is, of course, a spiritualist only, and Subhash was also a spiritualist, and they were having good spiritual discussion. But Subhash Chandra Bose, he went into the direction of politics and in order to free the country. And Prabhupada also joined Gandhi's movement. But later, Prabhupada met with his spiritual master Srila Prabhupada, and then his path got changed, and his vision became enhanced, and it became not only national. Other political parties, other politicians, freedom fighters, they were only having the vision that I had to somehow or other, by hook or crook, by all the ways possible, I have to free our country. That was their understanding, their vision, their targets, their goal. And finally, they could achieve also in 1947. Tomorrow is 26th January, which is again being celebrated in India, and very nicely as 26 January, as we all know how we celebrate and why we celebrate. But what was the direction to Prabhupada given by his spiritual master, and how his vision was not only limited to a particular community or a society or a nation. No, Prabhupada's vision became internationally, not only internationally, universal. He wanted to free the whole universe from the strong clutch of three modes of material nature, this cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease. People don't want to suffer, but still people are suffering. They want to go beyond this suffering situations, but still they are imposed this suffering. Why all these things are happening? Even if richness is there, all those facilities are there, luxuries are there, but still why people are not happy? So Prabhupada wanted to bring about independence throughout the whole universe, not only in India or in the other parts of the world, but all over the world, not only in this world, but interplanetary worlds also. So that vision, Prabhupada's, that was the Prabhupada's vision. And finally, in 1965, he embarked on that vision. He embarked on the journey of, starting this movement, which is called Krishna consciousness movement, bringing about peace and harmony all over the world without ruling others. Now, what happens in the materialistic term? If you want to be happy, if Britishers, they want to be happy, they want to be in the enjoyment situation, then they should rule other countries. They should come and rule India. They should subjugate India. Indians will suffer, then Britishers will enjoy. So here there is, if I want to be happy, then I will have to make other person suffer, or I have to put other person into distressful condition. Then only I can enjoy. I can be happy. But Prabhupada started a movement where without anybody having into depression or anxiety or disturbing situation, whole world can be happy. Suppose if I want to be happy in my class and I want to get first rank, then I have to defeat other 49 people if there are 50 people in the classroom. So my happiness depends on other 49 people's study, their strength, their all those things. But Prabhupada created a situation, a moment where without any duality, without any competition, everybody can be happy. So what are those teachings? What are these insights? We'll understand. Okay, so this will skip. This we have already understood, law of karma in yesterday's class. Now, this is very important. 5 factors which influence the result of any action. There are 5 factors. What happens when we, as students, this slide I have made focusing on the students only, situation of all the students. While we study, then we are very much focused on our result. And if we don't get the result, then we at times become disturbed. Or if result is not meeting as per our expectation, then we get disturbed and we go into depression. So let us understand what all those factors are there which influences the result of any action. What are those factors? So Krishna talks about very nicely about this result. There are 5 factors, and those 5 factors are: first is place of action, second is performance, third is our senses. Please remember, first is place of action, second is performer who is performing the activity, third is senses, and fourth one is endeavor, and fifth one is sanction of the Lord, that is called destiny. So then these are 5 factors which influence the result of our activities. If at all we want to achieve success in any result, these 5 factors should be met. Generally, we only focus on those only 4 factors, first 4 factors, not even those also. Sometimes we only focus on our endeavors. I have to put endeavors somehow or other to get success. I should put my endeavors. But endeavors are not the only factor which will decide your result. There are 4 other factors. Like, first one is place of action. That matters a lot. Where you're performing the action, that place, it also decides the result of your activity. Then performer, being a aspirant of any kind of competition, first check that whether you can perform it or not. So checking our performance also is very, very important. And our ability, suppose you don't have ability, you have ability in painting or in drawing, but you want to compete with a person who is expert in other fields, so there will be always a depression in your life, because you are unnecessarily competing with somebody else who, with whom you cannot match. Your ability is different, so you compete in that direction. So that is also very important factor, that you actually deserve for that. Performer, checking our ability and all those things. Then third is senses. Our senses should be controlled, they should be properly aligned. Suppose your exam is there, you want to prepare, now you have got headache, or your eyes are having some problem, you have back pain, you have so many problems, so you cannot focus on the study. Yes or no? So this is also one of the factors. Mind should be controlled, mind should be focused, there should be concentration. So the senses are also very important factors. Then only you can nicely focus on your activity. This is third. And fourth factor is endeavor. Here comes endeavor, how much endeavor you put. So endeavor is also very, very important factor. Sometimes people say that, oh, destiny is fixed. No, then why should I put endeavor? No, destiny is fixed, but if you don't put endeavor, then what is there in your destiny, that also you'll not get. Just like example comes of, you have your own account, and in your accounts, let's say you have got 1 lakh rupee, and now there is need, you want some 25,000 rupees from your account. You want to withdraw that from there. So if you go to bank and say to manager that I have got my bank account here in your bank. So there is 1 lakh rupees in my account. So I want 25,000. So please give me. So that bank manager will ask you to follow some procedures, some guidelines, some rules, regulations. Then only, even if the money is there in your account, but you cannot withdraw it unless some procedures which are there, you follow that. What? Like filling the forms and then submitting to the bank manager and getting, you first sign and then bank manager will also sign. Then only you can withdraw the money from your account. Just see. So even if money is there in your account, 1 lakh rupee is there, but you cannot withdraw it without going through a proper channel. So similarly, even if some result is there in your destiny, but if you remain a lethargic, you don't work, you don't perform the activity, you are not going to get the result. Another example comes like, sometimes you would have seen seeds are sown in the land. Now you have sown the seed in the land, but you don't water it. Don't put any manures or waters, or don't care for that. And you are thinking that I have sown the seed. No, it will germinate. No, you have sown the seed. Parallelly, you have to water it also. So rain also is a factor which is causing the seed to grow. So in the same way, it is there. If even so, one cannot say that that seed I have sown. No, so in that seed, so suppose mango seed is there. So mango seed I have sown, so it should germinate. No, yes, it will germinate, but you have to follow some rules. You have to water it, and there should be some proper environment, favorable environment for it. Then only it will germinate. Otherwise, it will not come out. Even if that seed has got potency to germinate, that seed has got ability to germinate, but it will not come out. So this is the fourth thing, that endeavor also we have to put. And other extreme is also not true. One extreme is, anyway it is there in my destiny, so I will get that. So let me not work. Let me sleep nicely. It will come automatic. No, if you don't perform your activity, even if it is there in your destiny, it will not come. Second thing, there are many people, they don't follow destiny. They don't believe in all this. Oh, work very, very hard, put all your endeavors and try to work day and night, and you can bring about change. That is also another extreme. It is like, without the sanction of bank manager, you can go and withdraw the money. So both extremes are wrong. This extreme, that anyway destiny is there, no, it will come, so let me not work. So this extreme is also to be avoided. And this extreme, another extreme is, oh, let us, what is all those destiny and all this is all nonsense, all bogus. The main thing is your endeavor, your chesta, your ruchi. This is important. No, destiny is also important, your endeavor is also important. Both things parallelly should go on. So we have to avoid both the extremes. Okay. Now fifth factor. So these are four factors. Now fifth factor is the sanction of the Lord, the sanction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is very, very important, and that we all miss out. We think that, oh, I have very nice place to study, and I joined this coaching, and I was having that ability also, and then I was having all the senses properly aligned, and I put my endeavors also, but still I did not get the result. Why? Because fifth factor was not there in your favor. That is the sanction of the Lord. So these are the five factors which influence the result of our action. So we should always remember this, that anywhere if you're not getting the result, that means, and if you have all those four factors, if you have met, then you should understand that fifth factor is not meeting. That is, Lord's sanction is not there. So we should aspire to get the sanction of the Lord. So this is one of the very important understanding which we all should have when we are performing our duty. And if we have this, then we'll not be, any time will be not be disturbed or frustrated, because we'll understand that even if I didn't get, that means it was not there in my destiny, or Lord did not sanction me, and Lord is my best friend, so he would have thought something better for me. So let me wait for the right time to get the results as the Lord wants. Okay, now this is another very, very important understanding which we all should always remember. So the first thing was this 5-factor law of karma. First of all, destiny was there. You should always have the understanding that yes, there is a destiny, and the complete understanding which we discussed yesterday. And then 5 factors, these are also very important, and this too shall pass. This is one of the golden command. There are so many gems, but this is one of the gems which will keep you always enthusiastic, which will not let you go down, which will not take you in disturbing situation. If you remember this quote particular, this too shall pass. Very, very important. So I'll read this. Don't bother about material relations or conditions so much. Otherwise, we will never be peaceful, because we don't have any control over others or our karma. Who or which karma will turn what, we don't know. So I'll explain this. First line is don't bother about any relations or conditions so much. Sometimes what happens, there is relation breakups, and in our relationship there is some clash, friction, and because of that there is break in relationship. And this is one condition. And another thing is sometimes some reverse situation arises in our life, and some adverse conditions are arising in our life, and we get disturbed. So what is written? Don't bother about material relations or conditions so much. क्यों नहीं bother करना है? Because we don't have any control over others. Means we don't have any control over others. So a relation is based on others. No, relation means as soon as you say relation में दो लोग involved. There are two people involved into relation, you and next person, and you don't have any control upon other person. Yes or no? So if suppose relation, you are too much attached to that relation, and that relation got broke, so you should not be bothered. Why? Because we should understand that I don't have control over anybody. Even I don't have control upon myself. What to speak of others? Many times my mind cheats me, many times my emotions are haunting me. I want to be peaceful, I want to be in jolly mood, I want to be jubilant, but my mind is not allowing me. My mind is hovering here and there. Yes or no? So I myself don't have control over my mind. My senses are dragging me here and there and pulling me for doing this, doing that. So if I don't have personally control upon myself, so what to speak of having control over others? Anna? So this is very important. We should understand that any relationships are getting broken, so we should not be disturbed. We should think that anyway it is his life or her life, so why should I be so much bothered? Let me remain peaceful and happy. No, why should I give the control point of my life in others' hand? I should control my life. No, my happiness should not be dependent on others' happiness and distress, or others' response or reaction. Somebody responded or somebody reacted. Why should I be worried? My happiness should be irrespective of any situation. So this understanding should be there, because so many times people go into depression because of this particular issue, relational breakup. And second thing, conditions. There are many times adverse situations are arising, and very tough time is there you are undergoing, and we again become disturbed. So that time you should know that we don't have control over our karma. Karma, destiny is unfolding. Time comes immediately. At that point of time, the destiny, what was there, it will unfold. It will come up in front of you. So because we don't have control over destiny, so therefore we don't have control over situations also. So the conditions will arise as per the destiny, and the relations will be favorable or unfavorable as per the other person's response or reaction. And in both these cases, we don't have any control. Yes, we have control upon myself. That is there. So I can work upon myself, not correcting others. Don't think ever situation should get changed in order to you become happy. Why situation should get changed or why people should get changed? If you want to be happy, you should change your internal consciousness. You should bring about change. Nobody, no situation and nobody is the cause of our happiness and distress. We ourselves are the cause of our happiness and our distress. No situation or no person has got the power to disturb us. It is we who get disturbed. This is very, very important. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada, he always says that nobody can harm you unless you harm yourself. Nobody can harm you unless you harm yourself. So this is very, very important command which we should always understand. So this is about the first 4 lines, that situations and people, we don't have any control upon these things. So because these things, situation will arise according to destiny, and relationship will be as per other person, and we don't have any control over any of these two things. So we should not be worried about it. Now then, where we should focus on our, if at all we want to not get disturbed, then what should we do? Then the 5th line is very, very important thing. Therefore, just focus on chanting Hare Krishna and increase your spiritual content. This is very important line, that chant Hare Krishna. By chanting Hare Krishna, what will happen? Your destiny will get changed. Suppose in your destiny some tough time is going to come, it will get changed by chanting Hare Krishna mantra, because now you have called out Krishna in your life, and Krishna can alter the destiny. So therefore, where we can work, so go and do the treatment at the root. As I have always been saying that and repeating that, we should do the root cause analysis, not the symptoms. Root को जाके वहां पर treat करना, and root is the destiny is causing us to suffer. And so by chanting Hare Krishna mantra, we can change that destiny. And the second thing, EQ, our emotional quotient, is making us to undergo some problems. So if at all you want to increase your emotional quotient, then increase your spiritual content. SQ increase करना है. So 2 things, chanting से आपका destiny change होगा, and spiritual content, प्रभुपाद के books पढ़ने से, प्रभुपाद की भगवद गीता पढ़ने से, भगवद गीता as it is पढ़ने से, your emotional quotient change होगा. And by this, you can handle tough time and situation in life without any disturbance. And that's how you will be always happy. You will never be disturbed. So this is very, very important. And always this understanding should be there that this too shall pass. Any situation comes or any problem comes in our life, we should understand that this too shall pass. Everything will pass in this world. We will also pass. Other person will also pass. The situation will pass. The whole world will pass, because everything is relative here. Nothing is absolute. We are here talking about relative truth. And why to be worried about relative truths? As we understood in the last class, Prabhu was sharing, big empires, big people came and gone, but the world is still there. Things are still going on. So like this world is there running, but at times we think that if I don't work, if I don't perform this activity, if I don't do this research, that research, then how the world will continue? No, because everything is very, very relative. Everything is passing. Your bad time will pass, your good time will pass. So we should not be worried about all these things. We should focus on the absolute truth. What is absolute? Because we are running after absolute nature. We are trying to have that absolute qualities. Absolute means which is not dependent on the time, which is always there existing. So we are always looking forward for that absolute beauty, absolute intelligence, absolute in strength, absolute relationship, which is not getting any kind of problems, and no breakage in relationship. So these things we want absolute means always eternal. But here things are relative because everything is passing. So with this understanding, we should live our life that this too shall pass, and parallelly we should have a very important understanding of serenity prayer. This is again the last concept which I will describe today. And again, this is very important point which we should always remember. This is called serenity prayer. Here it is written, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. So many a times what happens, many things we want to change, and we want to bring about transformation. ये चेंज होना चाहिए, वो चेंज होना चाहिए, सिचुएशन ऐसा होना चाहिए, ये पर्सन आना चाहिए पॉलिटिक्स में, ये सीएम बनना चाहिए. So like this, many things we want in our surrounding. So for this is very important prayer that we should always pray from God, that God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Anna? So let us be very humble and meek to accept this fact that we cannot change many things in our life. Let us accept this fact that otherwise what happens, we become very puffed up. We think that I am very intelligent, I am very powerful, I can do anything, I can bring about any change. And if you have this understanding, then if you work you cannot bring, then you go into frustration. So circle of influence is very important. There is something called circle of influence. Whether your influence is there or not, you are simply like that, you are working. And if it is not your circle of influence, then you cannot bring about any change. So first see that there are two circles. One circle is called circle of concern, and another circle is called circle of influence. So yes, it may be of your concern, but you have to see that whether it is in your circle of influence. If it is not there, then we keep quiet. Pray from God that God give me the serenity to accept the thing. Let it be like that, because you don't have influence. For example, 5 minutes more I'll take. Sorry for because class started late. No, suppose in your college, and sometimes students का problem क्या है पता है college में? When they live in the mess, in the hostel, then they have to uh, go for mess food every 3 times in a day. So mess join karte hain, and they have to go for their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. In the beginning, they get very nice food, but slowly the food quality goes down. Now this is your concern that food quality should be good. Yes, this is circle of your concern, and you want that this quality should be enhanced, it should be improved. Now what should you do? You should check now whether it is, yes, it is of your concern that you are living in the hostel, so food quality should be good, not that anything they are making us to eat, anything they are cooking and making us to eat, so much oil they are putting without any hygiene, all dirty things they are doing. And so it is of your concern. Now you should see that whether it is of your influence or not. If it is not there in your influence, then you have to find a person of whom it is influenced by. So there is a committee in college also, a core team. So they are selected for the mess activity. So you go and approach to those students that these are the problems we are facing. So you address them, and then when they have understood, then because this is the circle of their influence. So they can talk to the mess person and they can bring about the change. So very important thing that understanding the circle of influence and circle of concern. Many times it is not there in our circle of concern and not there in our circle of influence, but unnecessarily we are talking and wasting our time. Hours and hours together. It is not of our value, it is not of our concern. We don't have any connection with that. Simply like that, we are just wasting our time. So it is not in both the circle. And if even if it is there in your concern, then also you have to see that whether it is in my influence. So then you take a necessary step. So in if it is there in your concern but not in the influence, then you should have this prayer that God give me the blessing, give me the serenity to accept the things and go on, because this too shall pass. Everything will pass. So let me focus upon my target, my goal, without getting disturbed by all these temporary things. Okay, this thing. And continuation में this courage to change the things I can. And now the circle of influence where you have, in that circle, you, because you can bring about change, so you pray from God that please God give me the courage to change the things, to bring about the change, because this is there in my circle of influence. I can bring about the change. And very important thing is to know that what I can change and what I cannot change. So wisdom to know the difference between the two. So this is called serenity prayer. I can again repeat for so that you can go and sit in your mind, subconscious mind. So here we talked about circle of concern and circle of influence. So the first surrender prayer is, here you have to surrender. You have to be meek and humble, accepting the reality and fact. So God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. That means it is there in your, it is not there in your influence. It is there in your concern. Maybe it is not there in your concern also. And if it is there in your concern, so pray this prayer to the God and surrender yourself. And then continuation, courage to change the things I can. And if it is there in your circle of influence, so pray from God that please God give me the courage to change this. And most importantly, give me the wisdom to know whether which is there in my influence and which is there in my concern. Sometimes, many times we think that yes, this is there in my influence, and we take it without any, feasibility analysis. So this is another very important concept, that we should always do feasibility analysis before taking any step, whether I can do it or not, whether it is there in my influence or not there in my, if it is there in your circle of influence, then you pray from God, please give me the courage to bring about a change. And then with this understanding, you lead your life, then you see what will happen. And parallelly we should have this divine consciousness. Divine consciousness if you have, then what will happen upon gaining this means it is referring to divine consciousness. He thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. This Krishna says in 6th chapter, verse number 22. So whatever till now we discussed till here, beyond that, everyone beyond that, we should have this divine consciousness. What is divine consciousness? Consciousness of absolute truth. So all those things we talked were about relative truth, because anyway we have to be here in this material world. No, we have to lead our life so very peacefully, very nicely, in a happy mood, jolly mood, very satisfied, very contented. If we want to lead a life, then we should follow all those things which we discussed now. But that is all relative truth. Now coming to absolute truth, because ultimately we are looking for the absolute. So we should have this consciousness of absolute truth. And here Krishna is saying that if you have gained that consciousness of absolute truth, then what will happen? Upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain, because you have got the consciousness of absolute truth. So you understand that these things are all temporary things, will come and go. So there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken. You will never be disturbed, even in the midst of greatest calamity. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. So this consciousness we should always have, and this divine consciousness can only come about by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. If we chant this mantra, this is called Maha Mantra, then very easily we can, even in this relative world, relative truth world also, we can very easily cross over all the problems, all the obstacles, and at the same time we can develop the transcendental absolute divine consciousness, thinking that I am absolute, I am part of that absolute truth, so I should be focused on that. And these temporary things will come and go in the flux of time. You see in your surroundings also, many people, they came and gone. We have also now into the existence, will be also gone. In future, those who will come, they will be also gone. So this is all relative truths coming and going. But we should understand that why we came, what is the purpose of coming here into this world. है. So that understanding we should have, that is called divine consciousness. If we could develop that consciousness, that is called absolute truth. Others are relative truth coming and going, and we are the part of that absolute truth. So we should focus on that absolute truth, and then we can always be happy without any disturbance. Even if disturbance comes, you will not get disturbed. You will be very nicely situated in your consciousness, and you will focus upon your truth. Okay, so with this I'll stop. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any question anybody has, you can ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. If anybody has any question, you can raise, or else we can conclude our.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. My name is Saurav.
Yes, Saurav. Hare Krishna.
As you described the about the serenity prayer, and before that, you also gave knowledge of the Krishna. Can you just describe this teaching with the help of an example of a case? Suppose a person or a student is preparing for any competitive examination and for the job. So, how that person can relate these three teachings?
Which teaching? This too shall pass.
Yes, these two shall pass, and after that, the teaching you gave, and then the serenity prayer, and then the courage, which will help us to decide that the difference between the two.
So this too shall pass is very simple to understand that yes, everything is coming and going. So any situation, when I was in 10th class, I was very much anxious for the result in the 10th. I thought that if I'll get more than 90%, I will be happy. And I got also, but I did not become happy. Now the aspirations increased, ambitions increased, that yes, now I have to achieve good marks in 12th. So those mindset, those your liking, disliking, your goal, targets, which you have kept in 10th standard did not make you happy. Your aspirations, your hankerings again increased, that now I have to focus on the 12th. In 12th, if I get these marks, physics mein itna, maths mein itna, then I will be happy. And in 12th also we got. And parallelly, we thought that if I get into IIT, so in IIT also I cracked. But also after cracking all these things, after achieving all these things, I could not become happy. So this is what we can understand, that this too shall pass. So any situation is there in any phase, we should understand that that is just matter of time. now it is there, whatever it is, good or bad, let us accept for time being and go forward. And so having said that, we should not go into rest mode, or in luxury mode, or in inactive inertia mode कि अब तो कोई करने की जरूरत नहीं है, everything will pass anyway, my life will also pass, so why should be worried? No. So we should be very honest, very judicious to our activity. We should perform the activity. In fact, third chapter Krishna says that we are always influenced by the three modes of material nature, and if we want to sit down calmly that I will not perform the activity, that is not going to happen. These three modes will always influence us, and it will make us to do. And if you don't perform your prescribed duty, then you will perform your duty which is not prescribed, which is destructive, which may cause destruction to the society. You may start indulging into illicit affairs or into bad habits, because by nature we are very active. The soul is always active, and if it is not rightly engaged in our prescribed duty, then it will be wrongly engaged. So therefore we should always engage ourselves into our prescribed activities very nicely, and but at the same time we should not be overly conscious attached with the results कि मैं मुझे तो result चाहिए ही. And then we should have at the same time in background this consciousness of this too shall pass, that whether success comes or failure comes, both will go on and both will pass, but I have to focus on the eternal thing, eternal life. I have got my eternal life, I have got my eternal ambitions, I have got my eternal relationships, so I should focus upon those things. And parallelly, we should perform our activity. So this is about this too shall pass. And serenity prayer, if you try to understand, then just like I took the example of mess and all, like was our circle of concern and circle of destiny, circle of influence and circle of concern I explained. So this I think you have understood that suppose in UP now election is going on, CM election. So it may be of my concern, but here in Rajasthan sitting, it is not the circle of my influence. So maybe it is my concern, but because the leader, who is the leader going to come, and the kind of leader is going to come, that kind of policies will come, and the people will also become of that kind. And suppose if the government is favorable to Sudra class people, Sudra means they are promoting these bad habits and all those things. So the third class people, the dacoits, the all those rowdies, they will come about, they will flourish, and that's how people will not be happy in that particular state. So maybe it is of my concern, but it is not of my influence. I cannot do any influence in that state. So I should not get indulged into that, involved into that, and kill my time unnecessarily. So if it is there in my concern, then I can just go through some news channels and get the information which what is going on. 3-4 minutes, 5 minutes, that's all. So this is about concern and influence. And it's about serenity prayer. Suppose the first prayer was, please give me the courage, please give me the surrender, in which it was surrendering that I cannot bring about change, so give me the strength so that I can tolerate that, I can handle situation, and I should not get disturbed कि अरे मुझसे तो नहीं हुआ, because I have understood that I cannot change, so let me accept the facts which I cannot change, and where I can bring about change, there please give me the strength and courage so that I can bring about the change. And most importantly, give me the wisdom of the two, which I can change, with which I cannot change. Suppose in your 12th class, Anna, you passed 10th exam, and in 11th now you have carried forward. So you are thinking that I can bring about, change in the society. just you passed 10th standard, but you are thinking that I will change this education system, that education system, and this 10th education system was not good, all those subjects we unnecessarily we studied, of no use it is. You're all thinking that, but in 11th standard can you bring about change? No. So you should pray from the Lord. Chalo theek hai. And 11th standard also there are so many topics which is not of use, but you have to study. 12th standard also, which will not have any use in your graduation, just for the namesake we are studying. Just like when we came to the engineering, we saw that, oh, none of the topics which we studied in our 11th 12th are now in use. Many, very few topics, very few concepts, and many concepts, many topics we just like that only studied in our 11th 12th. So somebody may feel that कि अरे ये क्या है, what is this? If अगर आपको पढ़ाना ही था तो आप पढ़ाते काम की चीज पढ़ाते. जैसे कंप्यूटर साइंस के स्टूडेंट्स 11th 12th में कोई कंप्यूटर नाम की चीज नहीं है, but तो because they were very intelligent in math science, got good rank, now they are into computer science now. But in computer science they are not at all aware of what is going on in C programming or in Python. Again they have to work very very hard from scratch, they have to start again. And what kind of education system? So we were feeling like that. What is this? 11th, 12th, so hard. We studied and we put all our energies to just crack this. And now there is no use of all those things, subject matters, what we studied. So like this, one can come into the conclusion that this education system is not at all good. I will bring about change. But at that particular case, situation, you cannot. So now we have to wait and pray from the Lord. Okay, let it go on. If I am in the power, if I am that particular post, so I can bring about the change. So then the serenity prayer should be there always in our mind. Okay, ये मैं change नहीं कर सकता, so please give me the strength to tolerate. ये मैं change कर सकता हूँ, so give me the courage to change. And most important, क्या कौन मैं कर सकता हूँ, कौन नहीं कर सकता, उसका wisdom भी होना चाहिए. Okay, Saurabh. And
Yeah, Prabhuji, but as you said, I have understood. But as you said in the last statement that we should have the wisdom
wisdom.
To have a difference between the two. So what is the main by listening the Krishna teachings we will get the wisdom. That is the main source.
We are praying from the Lord that please God, please give me the wisdom also, no? Otherwise I will be thinking that, oh, everything I can change. So wisdom should also be there, no? कि अच्छा मैं change क्या कर सकता हूँ और change नहीं कर सकता, क्या नहीं कर सकता.
Okay.
So that we are praying, that we are praying. Currently I don't have. I am thinking that I can bring about change in everything. But
Yes.
I am praying from the Lord. Please, Lord, give me that discerning ability. I may have that analysis power, that differentiating power, that discrimination power, that yes, this I can do, this I cannot do. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So with this, we'll stop now. Time is over, 9:30. So I thank you everyone that you were there present so long, patiently hearing me. So I hope today you got many wisdoms related to our practical dealings, how to go about in our life. And if we can apply this in our day-to-day dealings, we can enhance in our consciousness, our emotional quotient also can get enhanced, and we'll be always peaceful and happy and blissful. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.